to the channel. Today I'm doing a technique-based video going through the move we all know as the kettlebell swing. So kettlebell swing is a fantastic exercise for working the posterior chains, the glutes and hamstrings. Because it's an explosive movement, it's a great cardio exercise, gets your heart rate going, gets your back working your core with the stabilization of the weight. So the basics of the kettlebell is almost like an explosive deadlift. So if you haven't mastered the basics of the deadlift or the hip hinge, I suggest maybe going back to do that first. And I'll go through how to maybe do that in this video as well. But if you do want to learn some of my deadlifting cues and the way I teach the basics of the deadlift, flick back to a few videos back, because I do one with my 5 deadlifting cues, and it's just 5 little visual cues to get your body in the right position for a deadlift. Because the kettlebell swing uses a lot of the same cues. It's just that rather than moving through the move slowly, we're doing it in a more explosive fashion, which really means you need to get it dead on before you start. Don't throw yourself into a kettlebell swing until you've mastered the basic hip hinge. So when I say a hip hinge, what I basically mean is that you can hinge your body from the hip joint without letting the posture in your back go. So what you want to do is just hinge. Imagine a door with a hinge, and the hinge is at your hip. You just basically want to hinge the hip without anything else being affected. So with a squat, obviously when you bend the knees come forward. With a hinge, you're hinging at the hip and the knees are staying above the feet. So in my deadlifting video, I go through all those different cues. So it's a great one to start on if you've not done anything like this before. But if you haven't, you're happy with the hip hinge, here we go. We're going to get into the kettlebell swing. So it's a fantastic cardio exercise. Gets your heart rate, gets all those muscles working. It's brilliant. If you don't have a kettlebell to hand, it can be done with a dumbbell. You can hold it on the ends, but with the kettlebell and the way it's designed with the handle, it just lends itself better to doing a kettlebell swing. So in this video, what you're going to see is me going through a decent kettlebell swing, hopefully, and then I'm going to try and do some bad ones. So when we go through those, I'll talk over just to let you know what's sort of going wrong. Okay, so let's get into the video. Obviously, we're going to now head to me at the gym, going through some correct and some incorrect movements, and also showing you how to maybe perfect that hip hinge using just a light bar, or maybe using you could just use a broom handle, anything, just something to make sure you're getting that back posture correct and you're not rounding off the spine in your thoracic region. Or in your lumbar spine, even worse. A little bit of thoracic rounding we can cope with. When you start to round the lumbar spine, that's when we could be in trouble, and we don't want that. So yeah, I'll stop talking. Let's head over now to the gym and have a look at the movement itself. Okay, first I just wanted to show you how to check your hip hinges dead on. Take a bar, it could be just a broom handle, anything. One hand on the back of the skull and one hand at the bottom of the bar on the base of the spine or coccyx. You should be able to hinge forward and both of those points stay in contact, one with the head, one with the base of the spine. If you hinge forward and one of those hands comes off, which I'm going to show you in a second, you need to work on your hip hinge. So you can see here, I've rounded the thoracic spine and the bottom hands come off. Again, obviously I need to work on that. And then I'm going to attempt to round off the mid back and allow the top hand to come off. I actually find that quite difficult. But yeah, try this little drill and perfect your hip hinge before you even think about jumping in to a kettlebell swing. And this is such a great little drill. Keep both those points of contact and you've absolutely cracked it. Okay, let's have a look at the actual swing itself. So feet about hip width. Take the kettlebell down between the legs, and then everything in terms of power is coming from the glutes. Swinging the kettlebell up to about eye level, and what you can see from this angle is I'm keeping the chest proud. If I have a logo on the front of my t-shirt, you'll be able to see it from the front. We're going to show you the side angle now. So here we're doing a few correctly. All the thrust and the power is coming out of the glutes. The arms are literally just an accessory to hold the kettlebell. Comes up to about eye level, back's nice and flat, heels are engaged with the floor, and it's an explosive move coming from that posterior chain. What we're going to do now is try and move through some glaring errors. So this first one, using the arms to pull the kettlebell. So nothing coming much from the posterior chain. It's actually quite hard to do it wrong. So I'm using the arms to pull the kettlebell up, which is wrong to start with. Okay, what we got wrong now? So yes, not using a hip hinge, using the legs in a squat position. So straight away, you can see the knees projecting forward, whereas the knees should be staying directly above the heels. So this is throwing it up in a squat position, which is not what you want from the legs. Okay, so make sure those knees stay above the heels. This next one, oh lordy, overextending the back and taking the kettlebell up way too high. Now, the American kettlebell swing, yes, you do take the kettlebell high, but not at the expense of your lower back. That was just awful to watch. And this one is like almost the complete opposite, not bringing the kettlebell, not getting enough thrust, not getting it high enough, and we're almost getting a bit of a partial rep there, and it just looks wrong. The upper back's rounded. It looks terrible. So this one just from the front, just to show you, with wide feet, it's really actually hard to do a kettlebell swing with wide feet. You can't get enough propulsion from the hips and glutes with the feet in this position. They want to be out about hip width, which is what I'm going to show you now. As soon as you get back into that hip width position, you have so much more power through the hamstrings and glutes in order to thrust that kettlebell up, which is what you want. So we're going to, oh yeah, poor me, back's killing. This one was literally just to show you to drive through your heels. So what I'm trying to show you here is if you drive through your toes, how absolutely flipping awful it looks. I mean, look how awkward that looks. It wasn't pleasant to have to perform that, but driving through the heels is really, really important. But you could see, oh crikey, poor girl, she's in pain. Okay guys, there we have it. Full instructions on some of the mistakes that can be made when doing a kettlebell swing. So hopefully that helps you out. If it's something you've been struggling with, or if it's something you've never tried before, remember, give that hip hinge drill a go first. That's really important to get that done. You don't want to be causing yourself any injuries by throwing about heavy kettlebells until you've mastered that part of the lift. So yeah, I hope you found that helpful and informative. You may wonder why I'm sitting on the floor on a mat, and that's because at the moment I'm teaching quite a large range of Zoom online classes, which I do from the comfort of my fabulous house. So I'm just in a spare room upstairs where I've cleared a space, and this is where I do my Zoom classes. So if you're interested, especially now we're in another lockdown, if you're interested in joining in one of my Zoom classes, I've got loads of variety there. We've got stretch classes, I've got resistance band classes, I've got bodyweight classes that don't use any equipment at all. There's no major jumping about unless you really want to. It's suitable for all fitness levels and abilities, all ages. I've got age ranges young right through to nearly 80 years old, some of my class members. So there's no excuse for anybody. Get involved. If you want more information, you'll find information on my social media channels, or you can just drop me a line and I'll let you know what you need to know. But apart from that, guys, like and subscribe. Remember to do that bit, because it always really does help. I want to get these videos out to as many people as possible, and the more people like, comment, subscribe, the more YouTube finds that it's a relevant video and will show it to more people. So that'd be fabulous. Thank you very much. I'll leave it there for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.